What's up, YouTube? I'm an average dad. Today, I'm going to review this 25-quart cooler made by East Oak compared to this Roadie 24 made by a little company called Yeti. Ever heard of them? Let's get into the review. Just as a quick disclaimer, East Oak did reach out to me and asked if I wanted to review their cooler and compare it against the Yeti. So yeah, I guess you could say I'm kind of a big deal.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
I'd been thinking about starting a separate review channel on the side and thought this was a good opportunity to try that out and see if I enjoy it. But yeah, not getting paid for this, and the opinions in this video are my own. Alright, sorry about that. Now we'll actually jump into the review. So this is the 25-quart East Oak cooler. They also make a 45. It is about 14.5 inches tall, about 20 inches in diameter. It does have a shorter, wider profile than the Roadie 24, which I think would make it easier to get cans out without having to dig through multiple layers. They say it'll hold 20 cans at a 2-to-1 ice to can ratio, which is the preferred ratio usually for keeping drinks cold. You can see it does have two kind of little rope handles with plastic pieces on either side. It has two latches, so you can open it like this from one side, you can open the other latch, and the one you just used will act as a hinge, or you can open both and remove the top completely. A neat thing about the East Oak design is on the inside there's these ridges. These work to help separate the ice from the water to help the ice last longer. When ice does melt, it can then be easily drained out the drain plug at the bottom, which you can access and drain without having to tip the cooler. So that's kind of nice. This is the cooler in white, and it also comes in these colors. This is the Roadie 24 from Yeti. It is also roto-molded just like the East Oak one, which basically means there's just two plastic walls that they fill with insulation to keep the contents cold. This one is rated at 18 cans at that 2-to-1 ice to can ratio. You can see this one also has two latches. They're both on the front. They'll hinge open like this. Fortunately, this one does not have a drain plug. You have to go up to a nicer, more expensive model of Yeti hard coolers to get the drain plug. This one has one handle instead of two. It's a really heavy-duty nylon strap with kind of a plastic handle in the middle. I think this would make it easier to pick up off the ground because you don't have to bend over as far, but maybe more awkward to carry long distances since you'll have to carry it pretty high or just on one side of your body. But that's probably just up to personal preference. You'll notice this one is taller and narrower. It can fit wine bottles upright, so that's kind of nice. Also has two rubber non-slip feet on the bottom. And the Roadie 24 currently comes in all these colors. Both coolers are very durable. The East Oak is rated for 400 pounds and the Roadie 24 is rated for 300 pounds. All right, now we're gonna do a little cooler duel. We're gonna fill both these up with ice and then check them every day or so over the next week and see which one the ice lasts longer in. While this isn't exactly representative to how you'd use them in real life, it should give us a pretty good comparison of the coolers against each other. All right, let's get some ice in the coolers. If you thought that joke was worth $13.86, be sure to give this video supposed to be pretty hot over the next 4 or 5 days, so we'll see how these coolers do. Alright, so on Monday, after about 24 hours, we'll go ahead and check the coolers, and not very surprisingly, there is a lot of ice left in both. Looks like not very much was melted. And just for fun, when I'm checking ice, I'm also going to take the temperature of the lid with my infrared thermometer. So you can see the East Oak is about 51 degrees, and the Yeti is about 54. Then lastly, I'll empty out all the melted ice out of the East Oak, and then we will check again the next day. If you want to keep me honest, you can pause the video and check the date on my watch, but it is Tuesday after about 48 hours. We're starting to see some of the ice melt in the East Oak. The lid is measuring about 43. And then on the Yeti, there's definitely some ice melt. All of the ice is floating now, and the lid is about 48. Alright, after 3 days, we're definitely starting to see some more ice melt in the East Oak. And then the lid is reading about 55 degrees. And then same with the Yeti, probably a couple inches of ice floating on top of all the water now. And lid is measuring about 60 degrees. And following the forecast, it was about 90 degrees in the afternoon. It's kind of hard to tell from this because my thermometer kept falling over. All right, so it's day 4 and it is hot. So we'll check the East Oak, and there is just a little bit of ice. You can see not very much water since we've been draining it. You can see as I swirl it, a little bit of ice still, and the lid is reading about 51. And then very similar thing with Yeti, just a few cubes you can see with the reflection. Not much ice left. It was very cold water still though. And that lid is read about 56. This time I won't drain the water out of the East Oak because there'd be basically nothing keeping it cold. Alright, so since there was not much ice at around 5 p.m., I came out again around 9 to check and see if either of them were totally out of ice. And it's kind of hard to see with the lighting, but you can hear there's at least a couple cubes left in the East Oak. And the lid's still reading about 52 degrees. And lo and behold, with the Yeti, there are no cubes left. Water is still very cold. You kind of hear when I swirl it. There are no cubes left. And the lid is now reading in the 60s. The Yeti didn't have a drain plug and we didn't drain the water out of the top, so it's not a 100% apples to apples comparison, but my takeaway from this is the performance of these coolers is about the same. Maybe the East Oak has a slight edge. In summary, for the Yeti, if you really care about those 4 letters printed on the front, then I don't know why you're watching this. You know, your decision's already made. But otherwise, I think this cooler is probably a better choice for some marine environments or are really passionate about what color your cooler is. I think the East Oak is interesting due to the lid design. Totally taking it off and kind of using it as an ice bucket would be nice, as well as making it easier to find stuff because it's not as tall. And then obviously price, for about half the price of the Yeti. If I had to buy one of these, I would be going with the East Oak because I'm a thrifty guy. So that's my opinion on the East Oak 25 quart cooler and the Yeti Roadie 24. If you want to check them out more, you guessed it, there are links in the description. Let me know in the comments if you guys thought this was interesting or if you agree or disagree with any of my thoughts. Thanks for watching.